Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about how we can develop the GitHub action using SFDX. Previous videos, we have talked about what are the prerequisites. We have made our environment ready for using GitHub actions, and this video we are actually going to use GitHub actions and we will see what all things we have to do inside a YML file. So let's quickly do that. This is my another GitHub repository which is private so far. I'll make this available for all of you. You don't need to worry about that. We are going to use this GitHub repository because I have already set up everything over here. I'm going to walk you through every single step and whatever the commands that we have put inside that YML file. This YML file is similar to the YML file which we have used inside our Azure DevOps. So there are not that much differences, so you will be easily able to get it. The first thing I'm going to show you is I have a JWT file inside GitHub and I have put server.key file so that we can use this server.key file in order to authenticate. I will go to the set secrets file and I will also show you that I have added multiple secrets over here in order to use multiple environments. I have got QA, I have got production, and I have got some developer environment as well. And if you go to the actions tab, inside the actions tab, I have got multiple actions. So basically, each action is representing a different branch. So it is saying developer org, it is saying hotfix, integration, production, QA, SIT, UAT. So based on how many branches you have, you can definitely use the multiple actions and you can trigger those actions. So why I have developed all these, so that once you are going through with this branch, you are developing any action for your project where you have multiple branches, you can easily refer this branch and you can reuse the YML file for your purpose. We are going to walk through about the developer against here. You can see the last run was failed. Okay. We will go ahead and open this file which is salesforce-developer.yml. Okay. I will edit this so that we should be able to see what all we have done over here. I'm sure you all are aware about the name and the triggering part of our YML file or our GitHub actions that we have already talked about. We have a branches. If we are pushing anything to the developer branch, we are triggering our action basically. Okay, so if you wanted to add something called pull request, you can also do that, and that example is there for the production environment. I will show you in a bit. What paths we wanted to ignore, these are the some files, some paths we wanted to ignore. If you have some other, you can also put those over here. We also want to manually dispatch this workflow. That is why we have said that workflow dispatch. Once we have done with the triggering part, we need to define the job for our YML file. This is a job. The very first job is to set up the environment where we are going to prepare our node.js, because our node file is something which is going to be useful while installing the SFDX command, SFDX. So we said that environment setup runs on Ubuntu latest. We already know. Steps is check out source code. As we already know, the very first thing is wherever in the branch we are, we wanted to check out to the source code. So this is a very simple command. You just need to copy paste and use it inside your action that you are using. Then this is what I'm using two ways to set up the node environment. Either you can use this way or you can use this way, which is very easy, preferable way. I'll always suggest to use this one. Don't go with this, it has multiple things, but I have put both so that you can take reference either one you wanted to use. What we say that this is the action which is predefined actions provided by GitHub. We don't need to worry about that. We are just referencing that to set up the node version 2.1. Always authenticate. Okay, node version is 12, architecture is 64. If you have 32, you can use that. Check latest, yes, always want to install the latest version. And what token we wanted to use. So to use the GitHub token, there is the global variable called GitHub, and then under that there is a variable called token. How you are going to refer is use a dollar sign and then double curly braces opening and double curly braces ending. Between you will be having your variable name. And this is how we are also going to access our secret variables as well. Then this is again the similar thing. You can use any of those. Once we are done with this environment setup, we are having a new setup, new step called validate. This is the name is again validate. Need what is the dependency? What step this step is dependent on? So we said that environment setup. You can have multiple. You can put comma and then provide your name of your step, whatever is dependent, or we will say that whatever the parent of this step is. Runs on again Ubuntu latest. Then we have got multiple steps, right? The number one is installing Salesforce CLI. Again, we cannot cache this. We have to install every time our action runs. The command is same, exactly same which we have used inside our Azure DevOps. There is nothing different. So this is what we have. Install the CLI. We are checking for the update. If there is any update, update that CLI. Then install the scanner. We already know why we need to install a scanner, because if we wanted to run PMD scans, we can do that. Unlike first step, we are going to check out to the source, and then from here it starts our actual code. Okay, what we said, we wanted to connect with Salesforce org. What is working directory? Very important. We can also define working directory for each command we wanted to have. So we said that working directory is something called .github folder and JWT folder. Remember, inside JWT we have our secret server file. That is why we are referring to that working directory. Okay. Then running the same command for authenticating Salesforce using JWT client ID. Now this is our variable where we have provided our client ID. We say that secrets consumer key. What is our key file? Server.key. Now we don't need to provide the fully qualified path. The reason we have already provided working directory in which folder we are working for this command only. Okay. Then we have got username, again secret username. Then we have got instance URL, and then we have got product alias. So we have given every single thing inside the secret variable, and then we are using those over here. Once our org is authenticated, we are listing all the orgs. If you want, you can just get rid of this. This is unnecessary step that I have added. Then we are performing against developer sandbox. Okay, same kind of things. Force, source, deploy. It is only validating where is our source path. Now this time we are giving the fully qualified path of all the metadata where our metadata is. Test run, no test run. Target username is this. We can use our secret variable as well, because this is what we have given as a prod alias on the top, the first command which is saying that secret variable. Okay, this is one. Similarly, we are doing the deployment this time, just removing this check only flag, running all the test cases we have already seen, then uploading the code coverage to the code core. That is what we are doing. If you want, you can just remove this. This is unnecessary step. So this is a very simple and familiar pipeline that we have already developed. We'll go ahead and start commit, and we will commit in the master branch directly. Okay. Now we have got our action. Let's see if it is running or not. It will not be running because we have committed on the master branch, but the trigger is on developer. But we wanted to have that seen, like we wanted to see that in action. Go to validate again sandbox. This is the name. Run workflow. Now this will ask use workflow from which branch, because every branch will be having that workflow. So I will suggest you, like I will use master. You can use any. I will go ahead and click on run workflow. Again select this. You will see your workflow has workflow is running as a part of workflow dispatch event. Go ahead and you will see now you have got two steps. One is environment setup, one is validate. Environment setup is already done because it was just to install this node environment. Now if you go to validate, it is like trying to start the workflow. Once it will start the workflow, we will see all the steps. lined down over here. You can see here setup job, install CLI is also completed, check for SFDX update, then install a CLI scanner, check out, connect to Salesforce org. So every single step is going to be performed by this. You see here now it is running update from 7.82 to 7.94. And the reason we are updating, again there is one more reason, because the URL that we have given, it might be of the previous version, the older version of our SFDX. So it is always to update the command, run that update command, so that we always run on the latest version of our Salesforce DM. So now you can see here our job has been completed. Validate environment, like environment setup and validate, both are completed. If you go to the actions, you will be able to see your latest action which has been completed. If we go to the repository, okay, in the repository inside readme file, I have added all these uh, status badge that we have already talked about in the previous lecture. This is the validate against developer org and it is passing now. Okay, so that is how you can also add the status badge for all the branches over here. Now let's quickly see one which is validate against production org, where we are having some checks for the pull request. I'll just go ahead, open this and edit this. Now here you can see the triggering part is saying that on pull request. Which branch? Master. What type of pull request? Closed. So whenever a pull request is merged into the master, we are trying to run that build so that we can validate against master environment. Paths to ignore we have already talked about, and then we also want to have manually dispatch. Then inside this repository we have also having some sort of send email, like we are sending emails to the user as well, and we have set up the email username and password on the secret as well. There is one conditional statement which we are saying, if GitHub event.pull-request.merge is true, that means our GitHub pull request has been merged, and then environment setup, validate and deploy steps has been completed successfully. Then send the email, and this is the step for sending the email. Username and password we are getting from the secrets. Subject is our GitHub job, GitHub repository and status. Body is GitHub job in workflow, whatever the workflow we have, repository status. To this email from Amit Singh, ignore certificate, convert markdown and our content type as a text by HTML. Then second step is again environment setup. You all are aware about that. Validate, you all aware about that. Deploy. So every single thing is here that we wanted to have with multiple steps. I haven't made any changes in this, but if you want to run this, I'm just going to show you. You can go here, validate against production org, run workflow, and we can run it. In the meantime, this is running. What we can do is we can have a look in Scratch org flow, because most of the orgs are using Scratch org. Okay, we have got some message over here for validate against production org. This is something we'll see because this has been skipped. So let's see first that the check was skipped. Okay, yeah, the reason it has escaped because we have put the pull request condition, right? Until this is not going to run unless we have got that pull request. So we will see that as well. Before that, let's quickly see our Scratch org flow. Okay, so what I am doing here is I'm having some sort of dispatch over here. I will say that pull request branch is whatever the branch I have given the name. Okay, that is just one pull request for ignoring. Then we have got workflow dispatch for manual execution. Job is environment setup. Okay, it is doing all those environment setup, Node.js and all. Then we have got create, deploy to Scratch org. This is our job. Depends on environment setup. Runs on Ubuntu latest environment. Install CLI. Check for update, scanner, source code, and To create an Scratch org, the first thing that we need to do is authorize with the DevOps org. This is our first step to authorize with the DevOps. Similar we did for our previous YML files or previous GitHub Actions. Okay. List all org. Now here we have got create one Scratch org. We said that SFDX force org create. This is our DevOps org. Save it. Where our definition for Scratch org is inside config folder. Project Scratch org definition.json. Alias is CI org and duration is 30 days. Then comment login URL. This is what we are doing, like just opening our org. Okay, our Scratch org. Force org run -u, whatever our alias we have given here, which is CI org, and then -org. Okay, push to Scratch org. This is how we are pushing Scratch org, force source push, and this is our target username. Import sample data. We have also got some sample data. We are running Apex test. We are uploading test to the code core. Then we are deleting the Scratch org. Why we are deleting that? We just wanted to make sure that our flow is working, our code is not having any problem, and then we are deleting that Scratch org. Run security check, where we are doing like installing SFDX update and every single thing, and then we are running PMD scanner over here as well. Okay, so we will just go ahead, cancel it, and then we will try to run this as well. So you can see here we have got environment setup which is running now. Once environment setup is done, we will be seeing a different step which is create a Scratch org, and we will be seeing over here. So now you can see here our create Scratch org is running. Okay, it is running, creating the Scratch org. We will see if there is any issues or we are successfully able to create the Scratch org. So you can see here on the top, create Scratch org. Let's open this. We've got successfully created a Scratch org, and this is the username. If you scroll down and find this comment login URL, we got this. If you open this, okay, we might not able to log in because it is deleting the Scratch org. But if you click on that, we will be able to see that this is basically our org URL. But as I said, it has deleted the org, so we will not be able to log in into the org. But our Scratch org creation is done. We have pushed the source to the Scratch org. We imported some data, created few accounts and contact records. We ran the test cases. There were only 2 test cases. Then we uploaded the test cases to CodeCo. And then we have deleted the Scratch org. And then we again post checkout actions and complete job. Now it is running the security checks on our all the Apex classes. For the security checks, as we need Salesforce CLI scanner, we must need to install Salesforce CLI SFDX update as well as scanner, so that we can scan for security exceptions in our repositories, all the code metadata that we have. And you can see that here, no PMD rules violation found. So that is how our Scratch org flow is also working fine. If you don't want to delete the Scratch org, you can just go ahead and don't delete that. This is again also very useful, like when your developer are working on a different requirements and they need Scratch org. So what you can do is you can just run a pipeline, create a Scratch org, and then give them the username, like this is your username, and you can also reset the password and provide them. That Scratch org will have everything, and you don't need to worry about that. Apart from that, anything. Okay. Now what we will do is we will see the pull request for the master. So we will go to developer branch. Okay. Once we will go to developer branch, what we have to do is we have to go ahead. Don't modify the readme file. We'll just go ahead and modify something inside this. So we'll go here in the triggers. We'll find we have got a case trigger. What we will do is we'll just put a debug statement, that's it over here. Hello pull request, okay, and then commit the changes. Why we are doing this? So that we can create a pull request to the master. So to create a pull request, go to the pull request tab and say compare and pull request. where we wanted to send the changes to master branch, from which branch to developer. Okay, able to merge and go ahead and compare and pull request. So now if you see over here under this, it is saying some checks have not completed, waiting for run to check. Okay, so let's go to the action tab and see if the checks has been started or not. You can see here this is on developer branch which is running because we have a check on the developer branch. If there is any commit, we must need to validate. That is why this is doing all this like environment setup and validate, and that is why we are seeing it is saying that waiting for in progress, the check has started. Okay, we cannot commit, we cannot close, we can just go ahead and merge the pull request. So what we will do is we'll go ahead and merge the pull request. It is saying that confirm merge. We will go ahead and merge this. Pull request has successfully merged. We can delete the branch if we want. We don't need to delete actually. Go to your actions and you can see there should be one validate against production org which is running because of the pull request number 9. Where and this one is running because of the validate against sandbox commit number 43. The branches are developer for both the cases. This is queued, this is in progress, and this is now in progress as well. If you go there in the pull request, which is our master branch, you can see here, and then environment setup is done. It is going to do the validate, then deploy, and then send the email as well. So we will wait for our job to run, and then we will see if there are any issues. So as you can see here, our validate has been successfully completed. We got some error over deploy. If you see here, we got the error in the email. We have username and password which are not accepted. Okay, so the reason is that there are some security issues on the Google site. Not security issues, basically they have security implications which they don't want to which they don't want you to log in from unwanted, or we'll say that unrecognized location. So for that you might need to go there and then allow unsecured access to log in. That is what one reason is. So you can see here most of the our actions are working fine, and we are able to successfully work and set up the actions using GitHub. So this is it for this video. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.